Well, hello, welcome. I'm Mr. Check, Principal Meeker Middle School. Reviewing the Meeker Middle School Information Night for incoming fifth grade families, as September will be here before we know it. Thank you for joining us this afternoon. And I'm excited to share all the wonderful things here going on at Meeker Middle School. Little housekeeping items. We are recording this as it will be posted for people to view at later events that could not make it tonight. Just wanted to make sure that you're aware of that. We cannot see the audience, so I'm talking to the screen right now, but we do encourage you if there's questions, and we're going to have a couple times in between this presentation tonight for questions around academics and the whole child first, and then going into our student life with athletics and clubs and all the wonderful things kids can do here at Meeker Middle School. So make sure you put your questions in the chat. My assistant principal will be monitoring them, and he'll be presenting later on during this presentation. So presenters tonight, me, Patrick Check, Principal, Meeker Middle School. James Van Stralen is our wonderful assistant principal here at Meeker, and we make a great team. We're here to support kids, and we're excited to start the year coming next year. Agenda. So we're going to go over school culture and climate. So a little bit about our whole school, what it's about to be a Wolverine and whatnot. We're also going to be addressing kind of the whole child and how we support student social emotional needs during the global pandemic, but also throughout the years here at Meeker. Academics, we're going to be reviewing briefly around academics and kind of our goal for students to take some ownership of their own learning. And then we're going to pause for questions and answers. After those first initial questions and answers regarding academics and the whole child, then we're going to allow Mr. Van Stralen to talk to you a little bit about student life, the athletics here at Meeker Middle School, as well as clubs that students can get involved in. Excited to start that back up again. Looking at choice enrollment, first and foremost for families that are in our encatchment area, meaning that you go to Crescent Heights, Northeast Tacoma, and Browns Point, those three schools, nothing is needed if you're not a choice student as well. You're automatically going to be enrolled. Counselors will visit the schools. Sometimes Mr. Van Stralen or I get a chance to go as well to meet the kids, and it's automatic. So this is also if you do not live in our encatchment, for instance, you're in Hilltop Heritage encatchments, let's just say, or Mason's encatchment down in Tacoma, but would like to travel up here to the Hill and go to school at Meeker Middle School for some of our programs, and excited to join the team. We'd love to have you. Those applications are due by January 21st. So that's one of the reasons why we're having this information night early, is to make sure that parents that do want to choice in get a chance to. And then students living outside TPS boundaries have a different process to follow. And we'll have some information regarding that as well. We do get a lot of students choicing in from Federal Way. And as long as there's room, we welcome them. So I believe our enrollment is about 640 kids this year. So that's 30 over the projected numbers. And we're one of the few schools that came in above enrollment. So I think that's just as a testament to show the great work the teachers and staff here are doing here at Meeker Middle School. Going over our school culture and climate, we did a lot of work on this through the pandemic of what is our mission? What is our goal here at Meeker? I think everybody kind of went back to purpose during this time, and we landed on 3 words: empowering all students to care, learn, and thrive. What that means is specifically is not just care for themselves, but for others in our building. Learning is to be passionate, inquisitive learners, and then obviously when those things are connected, students thrive on into the next level through high school and post graduate work. We also focus on the whole child a ton here. Whole child implementation is all about setting expectations, having kids know what the expectations are, as well as being self-reflective and social emotional learning. And then we really try hard to address all the needs of our students through the use of culturally responsive teaching, and that we're trauma informed, and we use like a restorative practice thing. So if students do step out of line, we use that as a teachable moment. Everything is we lean into and teach. And then lastly, we really value, and this is one thing that I've missed through the pandemic, we value our community and students and parents. We had one of the higher operating PTAs here for about a year and a half, and then through the pandemic we have lost that. So we will be bringing that back starting after the winter break. So excited to get parents involved, and just because you have a 5th grade student that's coming to Meeker, we'd love to have you. I'll be advertising it, and I will definitely start adding you guys to our newsletters as well. So excited. But our school culture is a big thing, a part of what we do here at Meeker. We have pride in our school, and that is reflective in our accomplishments as well as athletics and academics, other choices that students choose while they're here. A little bit about supporting the whole child. So we have a really strong advisory. So a lot of times, especially talking to you parents to have 5th graders that are going to be coming up to 6th graders, we do a lot of work with our advisories. They meet daily on Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. And it's a lot around building community, getting students to get to know each other. We focus in on character strong lessons to build some of those skills, relationship building skills, and we also address some equity lessons and have discussion as those really get involved here. As well as that advisory is kind of a weekly check-in for just grades to see how the students are navigating. So we did a lot of work through the pandemic where we were monitoring students' grades and checking and connecting with them, and then we do our conferences. Another thing we do is conferences through our advisory where we kind of look at the whole child in general and say, here's some of the assessment results, here's some of the behaviors we're seeing, and here's what I see as far as the student. We have them self-reflect about their learning and set goals. So it's one of the things, I've been here 7 years at Meeker, it's one of the things I'm most proud of is the work that they've done to support the whole child. Academics, we could get into details. One thing, we accelerate all students in mathematics. That's a big thing here in all of schools in Tacoma. So they are going to be taking 4 years of math in 3. So they'll have algebra, which is kind of a 9th grade curriculum by the time they get their 8th grade. With those high expectations in math as well as ELA, we offer Springboard, which is a college preparatory curriculum. And social studies is in the midst of adopting, and science just adopted last year. So our cores have some great resources and some amazing teachers. And the big goal with all of these is that we have students, we set the goals for the students aligned with their grade level standards for that course. And then we have them do some self-reflection when it's about assessment, set goals, and then also celebrate success. So trying to get students to take ownership of that learning is a big thing of what we do. And one of the most important things that we do is we model that in ourselves. So the results we see from these quizzes and assessments, we look at through professional learning communities as a staff. And that we look at that data analysis and say, how could we have done that differently? Or what is really working? Man, that worked really well. You should try this. And do a lot of work with teachers teaming and to support kids in their learning. Lastly, I was just going to talk briefly about, knowing that we do have some rigorous standards that we begin addressing in middle school. We have support classes for math and ELA here. So there's support classes throughout that if students are struggling, they still are in those core classes, but they have additional time and support throughout the day. Or in this case, after school, we offer them tutoring. So excited to see this be offered to our whole school. This is something new this year, but after school, kids can come to like a homework club and participate that and receive transportation from 3 to 4:30 every day except Friday. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and that aligns with our extracurricular activities and clubs that James is going to talk with you about here in a little bit. But at this time, I see quite a few attendees on here. We wanted to try to make this a little bit engaging for you. So if there's some specific questions around whole child, social emotional learning aspects or academics, please put them in the chat now, and then James can post a few and then I'll address those.
Hey, Patrick, I kind of need to throw you a little curveball.
Sure.
I don't see where the Q&A section is. Do you happen to see the Q&A section on your side?
I see. Well, let's just go to the chat. Up above it says show conversation.
Yes. And do you see where it says new, and then it says published, and then it says, do you have that? No.
I just see meeting chat.
Yeah, that's the only one I have. So we might have to adjust what we're doing because I don't have it.
Okay, monitor and adjust. What about this? If I type something in the chat?
No, that only goes to us. It's a different chat.
Oh, really? Fair enough. All right, well, we will try to figure out those questions here towards the end.
Yeah.
So make sure you're writing them down, then we'll get it to the chat. So this is something new for us, is meeting Teams live, that we're learning as well. Teams meetings are very much more interactive, and we can possibly do a few of those too when it gets closer to March and April, because that's when students will be selecting their courses for the following year. This is just a brief informational night about Meeker Middle School and why you should choose us. Go ahead, James.
All right, cool, thanks. And then Patrick, just real quick, when you signed on, did you sign on as a presenter or the other one?
I believe a presenter.
Yeah, I think I did too. All right, well, hello everybody. My name's James Van Stralen. Nice to see you all. Thanks for being here and spending your time with us. Sorry that I'm not well versed in our Microsoft Teams Live. I've done a lot of work in the regular Teams, but I will do what I can to figure out how to get to your questions. So I apologize about that. I think I might have something I'll try at the end, but I wanted to make sure I got the information to you. This is my third year here at Meeker. I grew up just down the way over in Federal Way. I went to Olympic View, Sahalee, and Decatur, so pretty close. My parents still live in the house about 5 minutes down the way. So love the neighborhood here. A lot of great things going on. I'm talking to you specifically about athletics. So the breakdown, and you can always go to the website, the Meeker website, to find the specific breakdown, but there are 4 sports seasons that we have. We have fall, the first winter sports session, the second winter sports session, and then spring. And so we try and have a non-cut sport each session. We don't in the first winter sports session, so session 2, but all the other sessions we have a non-cut sport that is available to all students. So for example, Tacoma middle schools have their sports broken down a little differently than most of the rest of the state, maybe the world. But in the fall, for us, we have boys and girls cross country, that's non-cut. There's girls soccer, which is cut, baseball, which is cut, and then boys basketball. Yeah, most school districts have football in the fall. We do not. And part of the reason why is because of getting reps and fields, and we're competing a lot with the high schools. And so it is a way for us to be in a different session than them. And that's why it's different. But in the first winter sports session, this is session 2 of the year, we got boys soccer and girls volleyball. In the third winter sports session, which will start in January, there's football, girls basketball, and bowling. A thing to keep in mind around football is that it's for 7th and 8th graders. It's non-cut, but 6th graders aren't allowed to play. So that's the one piece there. Bowling is a non-cut sport in that session. And then Rounding out the spring, we have track, we have fast pitch, and then we have wrestling. And track is our non-cut sport there. So 4 sports seasons, an opportunity for your students to participate in athletics here each session throughout the year. There's this program that we're calling Beyond the Bell that's starting new this year. It got up and running just after school started this year. Before we shut down for the pandemic, Meeker had the most attended clubs in the district. We were by far, and we had probably between 10 and 15 different clubs. The pandemic happened, and now we're trying to get our clubs up and running again. We pretty much were starting from scratch. So currently we have 4 specific clubs. There's the STEAM Club, Students of Action, Guitar Club, and Minecraft. And then we also have the separate program that's called the Beyond the Bell. But as we get going, it's going to expand, and there's going to be a whole bunch more. We're going to have a lot more clubs. And the other piece is that if there's a student here and part of the community, they have an interest in a type of club, we can pretty much offer anything. Just we have to have a certain amount of students, and we have to have adult that is willing to run the club. That's kind of the oversimplified idea of how you can create one. So we've had a lot of people in the past that have tried to do like a ski club. They do art club. They've done a Pokemon Go club. All sorts of different things. It's available if there's the need and the people there willing to do it. But yeah, so this goes from 3 o'clock right after school at Meeker. We get out at 2:45. And these clubs, same as sports, run from 3 to 4:30. And at 4:30, we have an activity bus. So if your student takes the bus home regularly after school, they could catch the bus at 4:30 and still get home and be able to participate in clubs and sports. If your student is in the walking zone of our service area, then they technically don't have the bus either way. So that's the rundown of the overall big picture looking down. To get a little bit more specific, I asked our club leaders, our teachers and staff who lead a club, to just give me kind of a quick snippet of what it is. So STEAM Club, this is science, technology, engineering, math, and art in there. And there is a whole bunch of things that Miss Simmons does with the students, a lot of hands-on, a lot of project-based learning. They do teamwork, leadership skills, they take on projects. They take part in building our yearbook, for example. That's one of the things they do, and a whole bunch of different things they get to accomplish at STEAM Club, and that's run on Thursdays. Then we have our Great Students of Action Club, and this is on Thursdays as well, and Miss Dawson runs this. And basically it's just a place where students can come and be inclusive and meet and support each other. It's a lot of community building and just kind of giving you a place to be a part of a group of peers and to just help make Meeker a better place for students. Miss Dawson is great, and her information is on there as well. We have the Guitar Club. I was just walking past there today. They were rocking out. I know that Mr. Crooks, he's really skilled at playing the guitar, and he loves teaching and playing with students. And so this is another one that students can participate in. Something that you notice that there's Tuesday club and Thursday club. There are clubs for students to participate in throughout the week. And then I think our 4th one that we have currently is Minecraft Club. I know that's a really popular one. A lot of the kiddos love playing Minecraft. And so this is one that Miss McHugh runs in our library. And it's just a great way to learn how to, create, construct, design. There's a lot of great pieces to the Minecraft Club that Miss McHugh hosts in the library. So that's just kind of a snippet of our ones that we have now, but it is going to continue to improve and gain steam as we go. And so that's kind of where we are. So that gets us to the end of the information portion.
So I'll see if any emails come through here. I'll go ahead and give us. Okay, so here's one about accelerated classes. Yeah, that's a good question. So question is specifically 6th graders, are they offered to take advanced classes or accelerated classes? Well, so we do accelerate all in math, but there is a double accelerated track. So students can opt in to taking 7th grade pre-algebra in the 6th grade. So then that would force them to algebra in the 7th grade and geometry in 8th, which obviously gives them more access to AP courses later on. Regarding ELA, those standards are pretty well benchmarked, so you can teach a lesson and take it from a 6th grade level to an 8th grade level, or 8th grade to a 10th. So you can make it pretty difficult. So definitely there is some challenging, rigorous courses for students and plenty of opportunities to support them as well. Yeah, so one of the questions that just came in, or concerns actually, is just our sports when they're offered, and specifically basketball and baseball. That's something that came into play about 2 years ago, and I believe they were trying to give access to James. I think it's cross country or something.
There's a combination of moving the sports seasons around for football and reffing, along with access to the other sports. But yeah, the baseball, boys basketball in the fall it's a tough one that a student has to choose between one or the other.
Yeah.
And I want to repeat that because I'm not sure that they can hear me.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So James is just reiterating that's something that they've continued to look at, and boys basketball and baseball, especially for like 6th graders coming in next year, they're going to have to pick one or the other. There are, for 6th grade boys, I believe there are some club sports that go on through Metro Parks in the wintertime. So 6th graders can play that as well. So if kids love basketball, they can play 2 seasons of it. But yeah, for kids that do baseball and basketball, and a lot of kids that I noticed chose baseball this year. So, but besides that, thank you so much for joining us tonight. And we appreciate your time. Go Wolverines. September's going to be here before you know it. So as you're planning and thinking ahead, please feel free to always reach out. We'll be here to answer any of your questions. And counselors will be joining our 3 feeder schools in, I believe it's around March that they do that.
Yeah, March.
Thank you very much.